What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Lieutenant Nathaniel Flint of the Landship Scorpios, and today we've got an update from Rivet Wars Reloaded, which is all the videos that I do now, apparently. We have the holiday update, which is thanking us for an amazing 2023 as we go into prime time of 2024. The game was delayed until May 2024, but this is when things are going to be picking up. We are entering production and things are going to get moving. As always, they tell you that they're going to be on break from December 22nd to January 2nd. So if you need to get in touch with them for any reason, this is Steamforged Games about Rivet Wars Reloaded. They have a link here in Update 38. But the crux of this video is going to be about Gunnar Hammerson. They gave us some flavor text, but also we finally get the stat blocks and get to take a look at the amazing art. So we're going to just go right into it. This will probably end up being a real short video. So let's jump right into Gunnar Hammerson and talk about everything that we have now. The first thing I want to discuss about Gunnar Hammerson is that he is a neutral unit, but unlike classic Rivet Wars, what they have gone ahead and done is he can be deployed by any faction, and he actually has a special card with like different stats based on the faction that he can be released at. This is a twist on the neutral unit like way that it works in Rivet Wars, and I feel that this is very clever. This works out pretty well, and that's going to be the crux of this video, is going through his stats for each faction. We're going to have him as a unit stats as well as him as a plug stats for each faction. So this is really exciting. Also want to give a shout out, as always, we have an amazing art style. He fits right in with the Rivet Wars look as his little Viking self. He does have the stereotypical horned hat, which isn't historically relevant, but that's fine. It's very much indicative of Viking, makes him immediately recognizable. He's got face paint, which, by the way, kudos, changes based on the faction that he is at. So that's amazing. He's got an amazingly well-designed little axe and shield, which will be reflected in the mini. So good. We love to see it. So let's go ahead and jump in to Gunnar Hammerson. Excuse me. Hammerson. Gunnar Hammerson. But we'll start with his allies. So we're going to zoom that up and make that nice and big. Gunnar Hammerson is a hero infantry unit. For the allies, we see that he has 3 deployment points and 1 rivet. He has a base speed of 2 movement. He is armor type 1, but he does have 3 health. So he is going to be an easy to hit infantry. However, he's very tanky and very beefy with that 3 health. He only has a land range of 1 and 0 air range. He gets 1 attack, where he gets 2 dice against armor type 1, 2, and 3. Very good. The fact that he can hack away at even tank units with that armor type 3, so good. Love to see it. He is a solid hero unit. Now, what we're seeing for the allies is that he gets rapid assault 2. So basically, his entire movement can be rapid assaulted, which means he moves before he attacks, or he moves during the attack phase. So he's able to close that distance to get within that 1 land range that he needs to attack, and then he can do his attack. So good. But adding on to this is he's got tank shot 1. So he can enter areas containing only infantry units, enemy infantry units. He can do a 1 die attack roll against all units in that area. And then the units not destroyed move 1 area away, are like moved away by the player. So this is absolutely amazing, very flavorful. Basically what he's doing is charging into squares where other units are. He's getting a 1 dice roll attack against all those units. And then if that's a rapid assault, which it should be, he is immediately able to attack the people who have survived his tank shock. With a rapid assault 2, in theory, he could go into an area with infantry units, 1 away, scatter them all who survive, and then he can move his second rapid assault into another unit. Do the same thing. As long as it's only infantry units, he can move in there, roll against them, maybe defeat a few, and then scatter them. And then when he's done, that could be, in an ideal situation, 2 tank shock attacks with his rapid assault. When it's all said and done, he can still do his 1 attack against one of the survivors. This is very flavorful and very good. This gives him the flavor of basically just charging in, attacking a bunch of people, and like making them all move away from the space where he's in. Very nice, very flavorful. It's just a really well-designed unit. The flavor with this is that he gets his fighting spirit from the allies. So he just really likes to brawl, and he's just getting all psyched up. I really like this flavor. And we'll see that they did a good job flavoring his specials from faction to faction based on different things, and they did a really good job. It's good lore. So let's go ahead and see, what does a Viking do as a plug in a vehicle unit. That's going to be something we're going to have to go and see. And what we're seeing is him as a plug. He is 2 deployment points and 1 rivet. He is a hero plug. And it's all his specials. So he will grant Rapid Assault 1 to whatever vehicle he's in. And he has that Tank Shock 1 carryover as well. So he is about having the vehicle unit move before it attacks. And it can just charge right in to an area with only infantry and just tank shock that area. And then, because it's a rapid assault, they can then do their normal attacks afterwards. So this would be really good, especially since tank shock does stack. So this would be like the Vert tank and the Ostrich, which have tank shock with them. This would just add to that, making a more successful attack. Giving them Rapid Assault 1 really doesn't change their movement all that much. They're not too speedy, but he can just get them up there, moving before they attack, charging right into infantry-only spaces. This is very, very decent plug. It's a little bit on the, maybe the cheaper side too. I can't tell if that's super expensive. But it's a solid unit. Very, very good. It's good to see this. I'm starting to stammer a lot. I'm sorry. That's Gunnar Hammerson as an allied unit. Next up, we have Gunnar Hammerson as a Blight unit. And what we are seeing is that he has that 3 deployment point, 1 rivet cost. He has a base movement speed of 2. He is armor type 1 with 3 health. So not a lot of change there. We're seeing 1 land range and 0 air range. Not a whole lot of change there. And he gets the same 1 attack with 2 dice rolls against armor type 1, 2, and 3. So again, not a whole lot of change. What we're seeing is the flavor of him getting caught up in the mono wheels and the speed, and he just gets a thrill for speed when fighting with the Blight. So what he does is he buffs an extra movement to all units in his area. This is a really flavorful. This will bring him up to a 3 movement speed, since buffed units also get their own buff. So he is quite a quick unit that can quickly get up the field into the fight after being deployed. And since he buffs that extra movement speed, it means he's going to give an extra base movement speed to units like the Panzerfaust, to Trench Raiders, to all these other units, so that he's not alone in that fight moving up into the battlefield. We also see that he gets Rapid Assault 1 to help with getting him a little bit closer so that he can get within that one land range for his attack. So he's basically being able to move up into the fight much quicker, and he gets that Rapid Assault once he's up there to ensure that he does get to attack. So he's very much about movement and getting a lot of ability towards that. And he's going to be able to get him from deployment into the fight much, much quicker with a 3 movement speed, buffing movement to other units around him so he's not alone once he's up there. And then being able to close that gap to get within 1 land range for his attack. So I like it. I like the look. I like the change of face paint that he's got here to show that he's now fighting alongside Blight. I think it's very flavorful. And then him as a plug, we're seeing the 2 deployment points, 1 rivet cost, and him basically only having his specials while piloting or being a plug in a vehicle. So we see the same thing. He gives +1 movement to whatever vehicle he's in. So this would be like the Sturmpanzer. This would be like the Landkrieger. I mean, that could be big, getting some of those big tankier units an extra movement. He also grants them Rapid Assault 1 so that they can move that one space, that one area before doing an attack. This is going to be really good. There's some units that could really help with this. This is a solid plug. The Blight don't really have any hero plugs that do this exact thing. The Blight's thing isn't really about a lot of movement. That's more of the allied thing. So this is really solid and a good addition to the Blight arsenal. And last but not least, we have Gunnar Hammerson joining the Nemoans. The Nemoans was a very interesting thing to see. Basically, they're like a futuristic, very like Atlantean, like secret like superpower. Gunnar Hammerson is like that ancientness coming in. So basically, the flavor here is that they have given him some upgrades, specifically to his axe. And I think what we're gonna see when we read through here is the flavor is that he now throws his axe and it like comes back to him. Oh, so good. And it's very interesting to see this reflected in the stats. So let's go ahead and get a look at what we're dealing with. Again, not a lot of change with, he's got 3 deployment points and 1 rivet. He's got 2 movement, a base 2 movement, 1 armor type, and 3 health. So the same as the other stat blocks. He's basically the same, but being launched by the Nemoans. What we do see, though, is he's got a 2 land range and 1 air range. So being able to throw that axe is really giving him an increased range to his attacks. And speaking of his attacks, we see that he has basically the same attack. 2 dice rolls against armor type 1, 2, and 3. But we see that he's got that Nemoan piercing attack. What this means is when he attacks a unit, he can basically pierce through it in a straight line. So we talked about in the Nemoan video, those straight line rules. And he can attack a unit behind them as well. So he basically gets those 2 attacks. With a range of 2, this isn't going to go very far, but this could mean that attacking armor types 1, 2, or 3, he can basically get 2 attacks in a straight line against those units with that piercing move. Very cool. And we see that he gets that Rapid Assault 2 from the allies stat block as well. So basically he gets to Rapid Assault his main movement. Basically you can just choose to move in the attack stage as well. Better setting him up for a piercing move through land units for that 2 range. So just a solid, flavorful unit. And I really like that added flavor of the Nemoans mixing the ancient with their brand new technology. And as a hero plug unit for the Nemoans, we're seeing a little bit of a change. So we're seeing the 2 deployment points and 1 rivet cost to plug them into a vehicle. We're seeing that the major difference between him being a Nemoan plug unit is that his special only brings over Rapid Assault 1, giving whatever unit he's plugged into Rapid Assault 1. But we see that he gets to keep his attack. So a 2 land range, 1 air range attack with his throwable axe, giving him that piercing strike. So he's basically adding his own little special attack to whatever unit he's plugged into. I think this is good because in the other factions, he can't just throw his axe, like he keeps it really close, and that's a melee. So it's not like he's on top of a tank or of a pluggable unit. He doesn't really get to make use of that very much. So it is very flavorful that he can then throw his axe from his perch on top of whatever unit he's in. As a pluggable unit for Nemoans, that's going to be like the Helios air mech he'll be piloting. That'll be like being on the that would be like being on the like the Nautilus tank, giving them 1 extra movement before they can attack. And they do move using the burrower and things. So like, yeah, I think it's driller for them. So this is just really flavorful. There's a lot of pluggable units in Nemoans that can benefit from a rapid assault. And he's a decent attacker with some decent ranges. So, I mean, it's just very flavorful unit. Very cool. And with that, that's really all that we get at this time for Gunnar Hammerson. Super cool to see. Very flavorful. And it's 1 model, 1 neutral unit, but 3 different uses. He can be used in every single faction, and he has 3 vastly different uses for those factions. I think that the different stats for different factions was a good idea. It helps keep the balance that Steamforged Games has really worked with. A lot of their changes have been made in the name of balance and getting it a more clean game, so that whatever faction, including the brand new Nemoan 3rd faction, it's still good and balanced across the board in that 1v1 and team play. So this is very solid. I really like his art. Also, I'm not sure if this is a mistake or not, but only in the Nemoans is his plug unit tilted ever slightly. So I get this effect when I was clicking through. But it's fine. No one's going to notice that in the cards. I wouldn't say that's a mistake. No one's going to notice that. I really like the detail done, the beard bindings, the detail on the axe, the like Celtic knotwork, as well as the face paint changing based on the faction. Really flavorful. Honestly, some of the painters out there, the flavor is good enough that you might want to see if you can get your hands on a few extra Gunnar Hammersons and paint them up different based on what faction he's helping out. Might be worth it. There's a lot of things here. I'm only getting 1, but then again, I'm not a very good painter, so I don't really paint up my minis. I leave them looking like the plastic Army Men soldiers. But that's it for this video. We can keep it short. Happy holidays, everyone. This was a great little Christmas surprise to be able to pour over this unit, see his stats, get to discuss with the community about the implications of the different abilities in the different factions. So It's just solid. With this, the last thing I think that we need to peek into, which won't be until the new year definitely, would be the cross-faction cards. This is kind of a nice look into what a cross-faction unit kind of looks like. Different stats based on different factions and trying to get the feel right of bringing that unit into the new faction. This was solid and good fun. I really like some of the lore, and I like this unit as a neutral unit. I feel like a lot of effort went in to ensuring that he was a unique and original unit. He's not just a pop culture nod. I do feel like the pop culture references and the historical references weren't that bad. I really did like them as units, but you can tell that he's still kind of a historical nod. He's a Viking, but a lot of effort went into making him look and feel like his own thing and be very Rivet Wars. So I like it, A+. I'm very interested in the lore implications. I'm pretty sure at one point we were told that Gunnar Hammerson is a hint about where Rivet Wars is going forward. But I'm not going to talk about that in this video. I think it's time to wrap this up. What do you think about Gunnar Hammerson, the neutral unit, and his different looks across different factions? Do you have a favorite version of him in one of the factions or another? Do you want to see more neutral units like this in the future? I mean, they could, in theory, do a Kickstarter for all neutral units that are all cross-faction to the 3 factions, and what their different stats and usages would be. It would be like a Rivet Wars Mercenaries, where there are all these different neutral unit cross-factionable units that plug right into the 3 factions we have. I'm still hoping that maybe we'll get new factions coming up, but who knows? Rivet Wars Reloaded could take us in so many different directions right now. So that is exciting, a little bit frightening, but more Rivet Wars is good. So let me know down in the comments below and things. There's links to all the social media places where Rivet Wars is happening. So go ahead and check it out. And guys, have a happy holidays. 2024 is the year of Rivet Wars. We've got a long way to go since May, but we're already over a year since the Kickstarter. So we'll blink and then time will pass. So happy holidays, everyone. I hope you're enjoying it. Hopefully you get some games in, and we'll see you in the new year. Of course, I will be trying to use what little time I have to get maybe a few more videos out in this holiday season. Depending on when this gets done, this will most likely be after Christmas. So Merry Christmas if I don't see you. And Happy New Year. That's the next one coming up. So, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.